Okay, hello, my name is Olga and my talk will be about ExtJS. But first of all, a couple of words about myself. I have been working as software developer for more than 11 years and as front-end developer for more than 7, and almost all this time with ExtJS since ExtJS version 1.1. I have developed applications for all versions of ExtJS, but now my talk will be mainly about ExtJS 6. Oh, what happened? Really? Oh. No, it's strange. Okay. First of all, a bit about history. ExtJS is pretty old framework, 8 years old, and now it's commercial framework. First version was released in 2007, and in 2010, Sencha released a framework for mobile applications, Sencha Touch, and 1 week ago, a new version of ExtJS, ExtJS 6, was publicly released. Okay, I would like to start with general points, why people love ExtJS and why I personally love ExtJS. I found 5 main reasons. Main reason, of course, it's a huge amount of UI components. No any other library has something similar. ExtJS has almost everything you may need. Grids, trees, toolbars, charts, dashboards, tab panels, forms, and others. And second reason, ExtJS supports MVC and MVVM patterns, and even I would say that ExtJS forced developers to write code according to these patterns. Third reason, two-way data binding that supports formulas. Fourth, theming. ExtJS has several predefined SAS themes, and it's possible to create new one by extending one of existing themes. And last but not the least, build tool, Sencha CMD. It's possible to generate with this tool minified version of ExtJS that contain only necessary parts of framework, and also Sencha CMD provides native packaging to convert mobile web applications into native applications using Controller. And in general, Sencha CMD provides a lot of features around application lifecycle. And in general, I would say that ExtJS could increase your development speed dramatically and make your applications much more maintainable and scalable. But all this was before ExtJS 6, and ExtJS 6 provides a new great feature. It's merger of ExtJS 5 and Sencha Touch into single universal framework. And now it's possible to create universal applications that has classical for legacy browsers and modern for modern browsers views, and share core resources and code. And another nice feature is support of 3D charts. Universal applications became possible because new version of framework contain 2 separate view toolkits. Classical that contain view layer from ExtJS 5, and modern that contain view layer of Sencha Touch. And universal applications targets all devices, smartphones, desktops, laptops, tablets, with different screen sizes, all operating system and all browsers. And it's possible to create as many kinds of application view as needed, and differentiate user experience based on device type, platform, day of week, or basically everything. And all this is under a single URL. And I would like to show you main advantages of ExtJS in action, so you make sure that it's not only just marketing text. To show key features of ExtJS, I created small demo application, MunichJS, up that shows list of last meetups, a list of talks for every meetup, and MunichJS popularity chart. First of all, short demo. Two tabs, meetup and chart, list of last meetups, and if I click at some meetup, we can see list of talks for this meetup. And a chart. Oh, what happened? I need to refresh, I guess. At chart tab, we can see popularity chart that shows how many people attended every meetup. And now a bit of magic. Let's change device type in Chrome. Nice feature of Chrome, by the way. Yeah, Apple iPhone Plus. And refresh. And we can see the same application, but with another view. Also two tabs, meetup and chart. Also list of meetups. Click at some meetup, tap on some meetup. We can see details, list of talks, and a chart panel, the same chart. It's not very impressive application, but it's impressive how less code you need to write to do this with ExtJS. And I'll show it. Sorry. Okay. How it's implemented? First of all, MunichJS, it's our root folder of application, and global code will be located into app folder, global controllers, model, and view, and view-specific or toolkit-specific code will be located into classical and modern folders. As I said, main reason to love ExtJS, it's a huge amount of UI components, and all UI components of MunichJS applications, main tabs, meetup list, and agenda is just extensions of standard ExtJS components. Tab panel, grid panel, and view. And classical and modern views has different amount of UI components. Here, it's the same, but a bit different base classes. Okay, let's look at the source code of meetup list. For example, I'll show you everything via classical view code because modern view code is pretty similar. It's standard ExtJS class definition. Our meetup list extends a grid panel. Xtype is just reference that we will use later to reference to our meetup list. And we need to configure our grid with title, column list, and stores, about stores later. And that's it, our view is ready. We need to add it just into items array of main view. We have defined Xtype, and by the way, main view is defined in the same way. It extends tab panel, has its own Xtype, and it's necessary to add reference to our meetup list class into dependency list of main view. And that's it, our view is completely ready. Of course, we should do the same with for agenda and chart view, but it's the same way. Okay, second reason to love ExtJS, it's code organization patterns, MVC and MVVM, and these patterns are not competitors. We can use them together. And we have just seen one part of both patterns, view, and let's take a look at another part, model. Main classes that presents model in ExtJS, it's model and store. Model represents any kind of persistable data, and store is just a client-side cache of models. It's like row in relational database and table in relational database. And for our application, we need models for talks and meetups. For meetup model, we just define fields list, and for talk model, we define nothing because fields list is optional. And if we define nothing, it means that everything that will be getted from server will be stored into model without any changes. Pretty boring, but interesting thing. We can add model relations and tell that one meetup has many talks. And after adding this reference, every meetup record will have a link to talk stores that will be created implicitly. So explicitly, we need to create only meetup store. To do this, we just define model, our model, meetup model, and define proxies that will be responsible for getting data from server, and reader that will be responsible for parsing data. And for URL, I just use a static JSON file that contains all data of all meetups. Okay, and the last part of MVC pattern controller. For our application, we need only one controller that will load meetup store when meetup list is rendered. So in controller class definition, we just tell what class should be handled by this controller and what event of what component should be listened. And our controller listens meetup list events. Meetup list is our meetup list X type. And unfortunately, bad thing is just meetup list from modern and classical view fire different events. So our controller listens both events and handle it with load meetup functions that just load our store. Okay, last part of MVVM pattern, model view. Model view just automate connection between model and view and use it for data binding. For our application, our model contain list of meetups, and for showing meetup details into agenda view, we need only one meetup. So our view model will contain reference to selected meetup record and a list of talk store of this meetup. And inside of agenda view, we need to define data binding. Just add reference to view model that should be used, our meetup view model, and to assign some config to some data from view model, we just put this config into bind section and define bind descriptor. Here we just assign meetup data into title of agenda view and assign the talk store to the data view. Nice feature is that all child components can have access to parent's view model. So our data view can use talk store from parent view model. And data binding is almost done. The last part of data binding, someone should assign view selected meetup to our view model, and it will be done by ViewController. Yeah, it's crazy from the first point of view because we already have controller from MVC pattern, but and why we need another controller, and the answer is that there is key differences between controller and ViewController. Controller is alive over all application lifecycle and global, and ViewController has one-to-one relationship with a view and will be created in view on view creation and destroyed on view destroy. And controller can control everything in application, and ViewController controls only components from his view. And in general, controller should do some global job for application, and ViewController should do some jobs that related to his view. And proper selection of controller type can make code much more structural. Our ViewController listens to Meetup list select event and handle it with on Meetup select function that has two parameters. Send it's just Meetup list instance, and Meetup it's selected Meetup record, and we get a list of talks from this Meetup record thanks to has many association, and get agenda using defined reference on the view. I'll show you. I forgot to tell that it's possible to add reference also inside of agenda view. And here we use this reference to get agenda view instance and just assign Meetup and talk store to the view model. And that's it. Our application is almost done. Last part is just chart. Chart is also just an extension of standard ExtJS component that can be configured with a specific store model fields that should be used for X and Y axis and series type. Now ExtJS supports 3D charts, but all other kind of charts like line, pie, scatter, bar, area chart existed before. And another nice feature is it's easy to add chart driving edge in Canvas or SVG, and everything will work with both engines. So our application is done. That's all what we need to define for such kind of applications. Not so much. And now I would like to show how we can select specific application view based on application runtime environment. Several options: build profiles, application profiles, platform configs, and responsive configs. Build profiles should be defined into special config file that will be used by Sencha CMD to generate all builds for applications. It's possible to select specific toolkit, schema for application, and list of dependencies. And then multiple builds will be generated, and one build is one type of application view. And then you can just select a specific build based on runtime environment inside of index.html and load only specific build. Application profiles should be listened into profiles array inside of application class, and active profile should be determined by return value of is active method on profile, and main view of active profile will be loaded. Platform config, it's possible to assign some config or some class config based on platform or device type. Here we just assign application header depending according to device type, desktop or not desktop. And responsive config is similar to platform config, but it's more dynamic, and rules will be applied not only at instance creation time, but also when device orientation or screen size was changed. And with all these tools on hand, it's just a matter of picking a good tool for concrete situation. If you need just simple tuning at loading time, use platform config. If for more dynamic conditions, use responsive config. If you need to change application in a big scale, use application profiles, and if you need an application that looks completely different on desktops than on phones or tablets, use build profiles. And for MunichJS application, I use build profiles. And last slide. Of course, it's not a holy grail and has some disadvantages. Main disadvantage is page loading time. since they introduced CentOS and it's possible to generate minified version of applications that contains only necessary parts of framework, this problem became less critical. But still, ExtJS is a huge framework and you need to load it. Performance was also improved a lot over a few last years, and now I would say that performance is fine for main kind of applications, but still maybe ExtJS not the best choice for high-load real-time applications. And of course, as everything, it's not completely bug-free, and every new major version contains some bugs, but they produces bug fix releases quite regularly, and it's possible to buy support subscription, but still sometimes you need to spend a lot of time to find some fix or workarounds to some framework bug. And yeah, in general, I would say that still advantages of ExtJS overweight disadvantages, and I even would say that it's best framework for enterprise applications.
So when you used it yourself for you were happy with it?
Yes,
okay.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah, that's all.